The Battle of Aidabasalala was a small but hard-fought action during the 1999 East Timorese crisis between pro-Indonesian militia and a small six-man Australian covert reconnaissance patrol from the Special Air Service Regiment operating as part of the United Nations-mandated International Force for East Timor. The battle took place near Aidabasalala, 15 kilometers from the West Timor border, and saw the Australians repeatedly attacked in a series of firefights by a group of more than 20 militia. The SASR patrol had been detected while establishing an observation post and were forced to fight their way to a landing zone, being attacked a further 3 times over a 1.5-hour period, killing a number of their attackers before they were successfully extracted by S-70 Black Hawk helicopter. Prelude, a 6-man Australian covert reconnaissance patrol led by Sergeant Stephen Oddie had been operating near Aidabasalala since 13 October 1999, after being tasked with confirming reports of militia sightings in the area. Indeed, intelligence indicated that there was a significant militia presence in the area, and Response Force INTERFET's Strategic Reconnaissance Force began planning a raid on the village. Aged 32, Oddie was an experienced patrol commander with more than 12 years service in the SASR. Over the next 3 days the patrol moved southwest towards their objective, spending a whole day in a village without being detected. Battle. At 700 on the morning of 16 October 1999 the Australian Reconnaissance Patrol was moving forward when it came into contact with pro-Indonesian militia. The initial contact occurred as the Australians crossed the dry bed of the Motomukuli Creek and prepared to establish an observation post in the area, which was believed to have been a major militia infiltration route from West Timor. The creek bed was about 10 meters wide with high banks of nearly 3 meters surrounded by scrub, long grass and lantana. As the Australians prepared their position, a group of 5 or 6 militia in camouflage and webbing were observed moving stealthily along the creek bed. Lance Corporal Keith Fennell quietly sank to the ground, but not before he was seen. The lead militia scout leveled his weapon at Fennell, who immediately engaged the threat, firing half of the magazine from his M4 carbine. 3 militia were hit and the rest were forced to withdraw. Oddie then joined Fennell, firing several 40mm grenades from his M203 grenade launcher at the retreating militia. With the initial action over, Oddie attempted to establish communications, whilst Fennell and the patrol medic machine gunner recrossed the creek bed in order to increase their field of vision. Within minutes the militia began probing the Australian position again, and the patrol medic observed another 2 militia moving up the creek bed from the same direction as the previous group. He engaged the group, killing one of the attackers. Subsequently, Fennell and the medic withdrew from across the creek bed as the patrol moved to establish an all-round defensive position. The sound of the intense action attracted further militia to the fight, with the enemy growing to more than 20 in number. Soon movement was observed by the 6 Australians, with the militia attempting to encircle and destroy them. Observing them through the undergrowth, 5 militia were soon sighted, with the patrol's second-in-command opening fire on the group just 10 meters away. 2 were probably hit, whilst other militia pressed their attack, although their fire was mainly high and wide. The fight lasted another hour and a half, with the Australians repeatedly repulsing their attackers. Finally, Oddie decided to break contact and the patrol withdrew across the creek bed, leaving their packs behind. Responding to the calls for assistance, an Australian RESPFOR initial reaction team was dispatched by S-70 Black Hawk to the position of the contact. During the later phase, the helicopters circled the battlefield in an attempt to support the forces on the ground. Yet with the militia attack faltering, they began to withdraw, presenting enticing yet forbidden targets for the door gunners. After transients 300 meters from the creek, Oddy's patrol spotted two helicopters and attracted their attention with a smoke grenade. One of the helicopters landed and the embattled patrol was successfully extracted. The helicopters then returned to the site of contact, which was by now observed to be clear of militia activity. 3 members of the patrol were set down in a small clearing nearby, recovering the previously abandoned packs and a number of weapons from the dead bodies. Aftermath: at least 4 militia were killed during the fighting, with another 4 believed to have been wounded. Local villagers nearby later reported that the attackers had suffered 5 killed and 3 wounded, although this could not be confirmed. There were no Australian casualties. Regardless, the Australian patrol had demonstrated exceptional fire discipline, and one member did not even fire his weapon at all, as no militia had appeared in his arc of responsibility. In total they fired just 200 rounds from the machine gunners F-89 Minimir, and only 67 rounds from their M4s during the action. Further, RESPFOR teams were inserted into the area, but they failed to locate any militia, while a company from 2nd Battalion, Royal Australian Regiment, mounted in M113A1 armoured personnel carriers from B Squadron, 3rd, 4th Cavalry Regiment, conducted a sweep of the area 6 hours after the contact, again with no result. Later, intelligence reports speculated on the involvement of Indonesian military personnel in the attempt to cut off and destroy the Australian reconnaissance patrol, whilst conjecture as to the identity of the pro-Indonesian militias and the source of their arms and training increased in the media. Oddy was subsequently awarded the Medal for Gallantry for his leadership during the fighting.